Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this, the Steel Series stage at the Dreamhack 2011 tournament. And Apollo, you've grown a beard. That's quite impressive. Looks like our camera's okay as well. We have this problem where our camera decides when we leave to move to the side for no reason. It's quite mysterious. I'm keeping my eye on you. I don't trust you. TLO, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here. And really, at Dreamhack, whenever some caster does have an excuse to not go there, I'm going to be there. I'm going to ninja your stream no matter what.
Yeah, you sneak in one way or the other, and you've actually been doing some work with Artosis. I think that's been described by many people as the most analytical cast ever made.
Yeah,
Nicely done.
It was great. It was amazing to cast with Artosis. I wanted to do that for so long, because, no offense, but he's my favorite caster.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
He's kind of my favorite caster as well, so I'm all right with that.
Okay, all right.
He is a very clever individual. He recognized that this name on my cap is actually in Elvish, although he didn't recognize the band that it referenced. So, yes. Swedish Viking death metal. He had no idea, but he knew that it meant Mount Doom in Elvish.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
It's kind of scary, isn't it? So, you're here to cast some Starcraft. I hear you're pretty good at that.
I try my best.
Yes, you do.
Better than playing, at least.
Oh, the self-deprecation, I'm sure, is appreciated by some people, but we all enjoy a performance of Zerg, which you've recently switched back to. How are you enjoying that at the moment?
I love it. Zerg is great. You can always do stuff. That's the nice thing about Zerg. You can never, ever rest your fingers.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, but you shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly, because you'll miss injects and all sorts of horrible things.
Yeah.
I recently switched to Zerg as well, under the tutelage of Chef.
Oh, I said after you lost against Too Good.
I won the first match. You taught him how to cheese, and he lost. What did you do? I mean, really?
I know, that was his 6 racks, right?
Yeah, you had 6 racks, and I defended that. So.
Yeah, barely. But because Too Good was so stupid.
That's why.
He focus fire the depot with his Marines instead of killing
Yeah, he wasn't quite doing that right. And then you went Thor, which I didn't see coming. You tutored him on the second map. I will have a proper show match against him at some point. So I'll have Chef tutor me, you can tutor TLO, or it's not TLO, you tutor yourself. What am I talking about? It's been a long day of casting, so I don't talk sense at the best of times, as you know. But
that's fine. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. You are here to talk the sense. I'm here to talk the bollocks, and we're going to be good at that one. Okay, so it's going to be a PvP, Nightend versus MaNa going into this group. It's a very strong group as well. We've seen this group. It's nasty stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those Dreamhack groups are actually so scary.
Yeah,
like every single one of those are. You look at them and you have not 2 good players where you think he's going to take first and he's going to take second, but you actually mostly have 3 or even 4 good players, so it's completely unpredictable. Yeah,
it's crazy like that. We're going to see what's going to come from this. MaNa is very strong PvP here. I haven't seen a lot of Nightend recently, but I've heard that he has been ripping it up online. He's strong in his own right, but I've seen MaNa destroy pretty much anyone in PvP.
Definitely, and MaNa took 2nd place in Dreamhack Winter last year, I think.
Yes, he did. Yep.
So he's definitely on his home soil in some context. So I think he's going to be good. MaNa is very consistent.
Yeah, he really, really is. Consistent to the point where he actually said to me he's so frustrated about that because he consistently comes in 2nd.
Oh,
he got silver pretty much everywhere. ESWC, of course, as well.
He's a stalk of Europe and Starcraft too.
Yeah. One of these days, he's just going to go on a winning streak. No one will be able to stop him. Yeah. Such a strong player, quite a passive player. Nightend is ready, MaNa is ready. I'm going to have the fun time setting up the scoreboard. In fact, I think I did half of that already and then got distracted by your dashing beard. Here, that must happen to quite a lot of people. And we are about ready to kick this off. And
I can't wait to go.
Yeah, it's going to be a good PvP. I'm looking forward to this one. PvP is actually a matchup that's very much grown on me lately. I think it's my understanding.
It became a lot better lately. It's not so much about 4-gate anymore. 4-gate is almost dead.
Yeah.
So people play a lot of 3-gate Blink with Robo.
Yeah.
And I like that. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, that's a fun play style. And looking forward to seeing this matchup. All right, I am ready. I will let them know that everything is good to go. I actually have the power. So if these guys are ready to go, yep, ready, steady. And let's get confirmation from Nightend. Yes, he's ready. Okay, let's make it happen. So the first matchup is going to be on Shikuras Plateau, the ESL version.
Yeah. Oh, is that only crossbar?
I believe that's only cross, if I remember correctly. It's complicated. There's a lot of different versions of Shikuras Plateau.
Yeah.
This is the kind of time when you really want to be able to call Morrow, the master of maps, right up and say, so ESL, tell me about this, and he'll tell you everything you want to know. Here we go. We are now in game, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you the one and only Nightend. He is in the blue trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the northwest of this particular map, the ESL Shikuras Plateau, versus his opponent, mouz.MaNa. He is in the green trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the southeast.
Yeah, Shikuras being a great map in my opinion, especially for PvP. In my opinion, the easier expansion is to defend for PvP. or in general, the better of a match does it make for PvP, because it is in general really hard to take an expansion. It's often one base versus one base, but in Shakuras you often have a second base, and that makes much more diverse and various games.
Yeah, because it is so easy to defend this area right here. It's a very, very short reinforcement distance, and blocking off the ramp, of course, with sentries and even maybe cannon forge and things like that is easy enough. So we'll see what comes of this. MaNa, he can play out the longer PvP game. He's very strong in PvP in general, but he's not the kind of player to just sit back. In these other matchups, he's quite passive. In PvP, he just goes for the throat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what most people favor in PvP. I feel like because for a long time we only had cheese in PvP, a lot of people feel very uncomfortable with long games, though they rather prefer to be aggressive, as they just don't have a lot of experience how a 20-minute PvP actually should look like.
Yeah, and we may even see that from these two players. Nightend is definitely no slouch in that regard.
MaNa playing very carefully. He sent his probe up to the very ledge of his natural, scouting for proxy gates, doesn't fight any. Obviously, as Nightend is building a warp gate and gas in his main, very standard. Both players going for 13 gate, 13 gas. Probably gonna see a 3 gate from both players. I wouldn't be surprised for that.
Yeah, a nice bit of engagement and micro trickery there, and of course 3-gate often leads into blink play, which is always interesting to watch. Kind of a ballet of elegance, and I'm seeing that a lot of players are now actually mastering blink. It used to be very impressive for someone just to blink back with one stalker.
Yeah.
That used to be an impressive thing. Now it's more like I blink back with 2 injured stalkers at once, or 3, or I blink forward with a few in order to snipe off an injured one, and that's where the micro trickery really starts to kick in.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have 16 stalkers, if you're really good, you're going to micro 4 to 5 stalkers every second.
Yeah. And then you do get the absolute best performance out of your stalkers. And in a matchup that's as close as PvP, that can very much go either way, it's so important to win those battles.
Definitely. In mirror matchups in general, you have really micro-intense moments because you're going to have the same army, and then it all comes down to micro.
Yeah, pure skill.
Yeah, PvP is probably the most intense mirror when it comes to that. So, as it looks like Nightend is taking a second gas, MaNa has a little bit of a quicker gas, so we won't see some kind of weird 4-gate. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by a quick expansion from one of those players.
Yeah, an unusually passive PvP to kick us off, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's nice to see PvP develop into something beyond one base sometimes, where it can get a little predictable.
Yeah, MaNa loses his scouting probe, so that's a little bit of a win for Nightend. Like, every single bit always matters, and the nice thing for Nightend now is he has his probe out. He can make a proxy pylon at the cliff of the natural close to MaNa, so that's going to be important for the later game. If MaNa decides to push out, Nightend can just make 2-3 zealots and send him into the probe line, which can be devastating in PvP.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we've got Nightend kicking it out with a robotics facility here, and this is it's kind of 3-gate robo style, very nice, but he hasn't put down the second gateways and third just yet. MaNa, on the other hand, has grabbed 3 gates. He's not put down his robo yet. He's mining a very large amount of gas. He's already built up over 300 here.
I think he's going to add a Twilight Council soon, because I don't see any other sense to have so much gas.
And not put down the robo,
Unless if he goes for an expand and adds a lot of sentries.
That's also a possibility, I suppose. And MaNa would be pushing his luck a little bit with that, honestly. The possibility of this 3-gate, when it is, of course, 3 gates and a robo on one base is dangerous. And there we go. Pylon's now coming down, and MaNa's going to try and apply a little bit of pressure here and there where he can. That's cancelled the pylon, though, so can't do anything just yet. This pylon continues to go on scout, and yes, he will go for the expansion, which is quite a gutsy play here.
Yeah, I really love the pylon. He was basically more or less faking pressure.
Yep.
So maybe Nightend for 1 second was actually thinking about a 4-gate, so he added a second sentry, which is going to slow down tech. You don't really want to have many sentries in PvP. And in reality, he was going for an expand, and MaNa looking great. Probe gets into the main of MaNa, so he knows about the expansion. I don't know what Nightend is looking for to do. He adds a warp prison, so he might want to pressure the front while warping units into the main, which can be quite strong. But it is 3-gate versus 3-gate, so he's not going to have more units. It's going to be very difficult for Nightend to do any damage here.
Yeah, and Nightend has had that robo for a while, and we're thinking maybe we'd see Immortals. It's interesting that he decides to go for the warp prism. Now, this remains unscouted. This is actually a very nicely placed pylon. It's not really in the usual place. You often find one around here because you can warp in down here behind the bushes. You've got a nice strike distance to the natural. That is not what's happening there, but we can look at the probe count, and MaNa's going to start to pull out in the lead as soon as this Nexus goes down with the double chrono boost, and that's a window where Nightend's going to say, I've got to hit him, and I've got to do damage in order to catch up.
Oh, MaNa is so smart. Do you see the Stalkers going to his main? They're going to be deflecting a drop, but the sentries are going to be able to just force field the ramp. Nothing can get up there. MaNa is playing safe. He knows what is going on. He has a perfect read on his opponent.
Yeah, and it was a good read indeed. Thinking, well, why is the pressure not coming? Why is that? Why is he not coming out and doing something to me? Well, the possibility, of course, being that there will be a Warp Prism attack. And I'm just loving the fact that PvP is getting to this point, because you said to me maybe 6 months ago, oh, Warp Prisms are going to be in PvP and there's going to be expansions. I would have called you crazy. Unless, of course, you were the guy playing.
Well, I know PvP is actually really nice. Oh, MaNa pull down the Stalkers so the Zealots get in. They're going to take out the pylon. Both of those warp gates are going to be unpowered.
Oh, a double cancel there on the warp in as well. That was a really nice play there by Nightend. And MaNa actually has a cooldown and a supply block. This is potentially disastrous. MaNa's got to micro these Stalkers right now. He can't just sit there taking punishment. And in the meantime, Nightend pressuring the front. We've got a mortal dance right here. Two little crab walkers dancing side to side, trying to make their way in. And here comes the continued Zealot pressure. And there's no answer to this Warp Prism right now.
MaNa making a huge blunder, having his units out of position, and is being punished by Nightend in such a great way. Probes are going down at the expansion. There's only one Immortal. It's going to be taken out by the Zealot. Actually, it survived.
Oh, yeah, very.
Almost down, and there's more Zealots coming into the main. There's 3 Zealots.
GG! Ladies and gentlemen, what a performance right there from Nightend. And while supposedly we thought that he was prepared for that, maybe I think he just went in a really awkward timing. He's like, well, the drop should have come by now. Let's move to the front. No.
MaNa panicked a little bit when he saw a lot of units coming from the front. Instead of just calmly force fielding, he pulled his Stalkers, and that is where Nightend got his timing window. And that's PvP. It goes over really quickly if you won't make one tiny mistake. Nightend shouldn't have won that. It was a pure mistake by MaNa, but worked out for Nightend, so...
Yeah, the classic answer is, like, did Nightend win the game or did MaNa lose the game? In that case, it was MaNa losing it and allowing that. And it was a precision strike. It was nicely done. I think that MaNa's going to be perhaps rethinking powering 2 gateways on a single pylon. That is very much a weak point for drops and things like that. But yeah, he was rattled a little bit by Nightend, and that's an impressive performance from someone who's going up against a very strong PvP. We're talking about the guy who brought down MC in ESWC quite convincingly.
Definitely. It feels so bad. Like, MaNa is going to feel horrible right now, because that was a game he had 100% won. If he just keeps the Stalkers and force feeds the ramp and holds 1 more minute,
he's fine. He's got an economic lead by that point, and no damage has been done. That's a big investment with the Warp Prism. But there you go. Nightend gets it, and that was a nasty little slip.